Hey everybody, it's your buddy Smokey again. So I got in a question about that chord that I had played on the Framing the Pentatonics video. Now, the problem with that is that I wasn't necessarily thinking about a major or a minor chord, nor was I constructing the chord out of thinking about stacking the scale in thirds as you normally would in that kind of harmony, functional harmony, or terminating harmony. Forgive the background noise today. I've got people outside painting the house and building fences, and the apartment next door is going to be up for rent, so we got lots of pounding, and my dog is going crazy. But while this is going on, we're going to talk about this chord, sip of coffee, because good God, it's quite a day already. But what I'm doing when I'm building these kind of chords is I'm not necessarily thinking about, oh, I'm in this key, so therefore, say we were in D major the last time, that the one chord's going to be major, two chords going to be minor. I'm not thinking that at all. That's thrown out the window. I'm still in D, but I'm not building the chords that way. What I'm doing is I'm doing something that's called interval sets, where I'm building blocks of harmony, but I'm doing it on this repeating system of intervals. So that first chord I showed you, where we've got the D, a fourth up to G, a third up to B, a second up to the C sharp, and then another fourth up to the F sharp. So I'm thinking 4, 3, 2, 4. And I'm building the chords that way. Now, if you wanted to analyze this fully, you could kind of think of this as a B major 7, add 6, add 4. I'm not replacing, it's not a sus where I'm taking the third and replacing it with the 4. I've got the 4, I've got the third on top, I've got the major 7 just below that, I've got the 6 here. So that F sharp on the top tells you it's D major, but everything between the root and that third is kind of, the other notes from the key, but not necessarily the notes from a major chord. Now, we could bog ourselves down and analyze this as a separate entity, and you can do that, but I'm not. I'm just thinking D. So my next chord, I would build it, we're still in the key of D here, and I'm thinking 1 to the 4th above, to the 3rd, 2nd above that, and in this case, it's a half step between that C sharp and that D, and usually that's a pretty gnarly sound when you put those together. It is. But when you frame it with wider intervals, it's a much nicer sound. If you take the sour and surround it by sweet, it's all good. And that's a really nice thing. That's what I'm doing when I'm building those chords. I'm not thinking major, I'm not thinking minor. I'm building on sets of intervals. That's where interval set comes from. So there's another way to do it. You can take any interval set that you like. These just happen to be the ones that I like for that particular sound. You can generate harmonic blocks out of any interval set. Create your own. Let's try another one. Let's think of a 5th, a 2nd, and a 4th. So we'll go back. There's our root D, 5th, 2nd, to the 4th. So you're going to wind up cramping your hands up a little bit here. So work with these sets. Find the ones that are easy for you to grab. But here we go. So we got 1 to a 5th, to a 2nd, to a 4th. It's a nice sound. Right? Let's loop that. Let's loop that puppy. Let's do that again, because I fucked it up. There we go. So now we have this new one built on the root, a fifth, a second, and a fourth. And you can still do your same old wonderful major pentatonic stuff over top of it. So that's the idea. So what I'm doing is I'm just building these chords off predetermined sets of intervals. So come up with your own, and if you don't know what your intervals are, fucking learn them. Gotta be done. Sooner or later you're going to ask yourself theory questions and there's not going to be anyone to answer them for you. And then you're doomed. It is the language that we speak, whether you know it or not. So to be able to articulate yourself is very important. So there you go. Those were the chords. That's how I'm coming up with them. I'm thinking I'm still in the key. I'm just rearranging the notes of the chords differently because I'm not thinking about them as major or minor. I'm thinking about that root, and then I'm just building on interval sets after that. You can keep them all parallel through the key. You can change the set for each chord. Have fun with it. Mess around with it. And if anything, it helps you learn the notes on the neck all that more. So here we are on a bright sunny day in New Orleans. It's your buddy Smokey with something for the bored guitarist.